Hello, welcome all of you on the training session of Schedule 3 Automation Tool. Myself CA Vishal Mulchandani, and on behalf of Team Black Horse Excellence, I would like to welcome on this training session. So if you have already seen the demo of this Schedule 3 Automation Tool, then you are already aware what all are the functionalities, how you can work and all. But if you are first time seeing this thing, then let me introduce about the tool. Let me give you a brief about the tool. So Schedule 3 automation tool is for preparing financial statement of private limited companies as well as for the limited companies falling under the non-Ind AS category under the division 1 basically. And you can prepare entire set of financial, you can calculate depreciation as per the Companies Act, and we will see like how you can work on that. So what all are the things in the Schedule 3? We'll see the prerequisite, then we will see what is the structure of the automation tool, we'll see what all are the features, and then we will see the workflow. It is very important to have a review of this entire training session so that you will be able to utilize the automation tool very smoothly. Now, in terms of prerequisite, you would require Excel 2010 or higher version, and if you have Office 365, then it will work perfectly fine on that. Tally ODBC setting, which is a one-time setting, then that we will have to do. Then if you are using Excel is a 32-bit version and Tally is a 64-bit, then in that case there is some setting which is being required, that also we will see. Then we need to run Tally as an administrator every time to import data from Tally. Now let's come on the structure of the tool. So there are all things divided into three kind of sheets. First one is the input sheet. Those are colored orange sheet. When you see the tool, you will get to know there are 5 input sheet. Then there is an output sheet. All these output sheet are colored as a green tabs, and then there are certain reviews and working sheet. Now in terms of features, if we see, so it is integrated with Tally, Tally Prime. You can even import data from Excel TB also. Then there is all schedules, annexure, notes you can prepare with the click of one button. Then there is a comprehensive qualitative and regulatory disclosure sheet which has been given. Then depreciation as per the Companies Act, that will also be calculated in that. Presentation options are being given, then cash flow you can prepare in this. Then as a preventive control mechanism, we have given the check sheet. This is something when you are preparing financial manual in Excel which is not available. So this will be a very important when you work on this automation tool. Consolidation also you can do it in this automation tool. You will get the columnar balance sheet P&L for the branches. Then ITR 6 balance sheet P&L, that part will be generated in this, which you can export into the Winman, Computex and Spectrum as well. Now as I said, consolidation with the multiple branches, if you have data in different Tally file, that also you can do it in this. Now if we see the workflow of this automation tool, this is being divided into this 6 different stages. We can import data from Tally, then we need to complete the grouping. Somewhere around 50-60% grouping will happen automatically in the automation tool. Remaining we need to do one time only. Then we with the click of one button we can generate the annexure and notes. Then we need to add the qualitative disclosure. So company to company this kind of information will vary, so that is upon user to add that thing, and then you can review check sheet, analytical chart, ratio sheet for finalization purpose, and then once the things are being finalized, then you can give a print of the financial. Now we will see on one of the company data itself, live tool itself. Okay, so this is the Schedule 3 automation tool, which is entirely an Excel based automation tool. So as we have discussed that there are 5 main input sheet. See master file, first one, second TB, then FAR to input the data of fixed asset wise to calculate depreciation as per the Companies Act, and then there are this 2 disclosure sheet, Q disk, and the regulatory disclosure is for the R disk. Now let us begin with the master file. Here we need to enter the detail of auditor, as well as we can enter the detail of company signatory. Here you can enter that detail. After that, all the features that we have given to you, those you can utilize from here itself. Like financial preparation options, if you want to generate the financials for a standalone entity or a branch consolidation or a company consolidation as per the accounting standard 21, that you can select from here. Then cash flow in case of small companies will not be applicable, so that you can deselect, like you can select no in that case. In this financial you can prepare annexure as well as ITR also, so those also if you want to generate you can select yes for that. Further, there are presentation options like from the current financial year, that is a 21-22, it is compulsory to prepare financial in rounded off. You cannot give in the decimal absolute figure. So you will have to round it off in thousands, in hundreds, in lakhs or in crore depending on the company's turnover. So that also you can select directly from here. So in whichever decimal you want, you can select from here itself. So let's say I select the in thousands. Then there are presentation themes, 8 color themes we have given that you can select from here which type of themes you want. Then there is a bordering options which we have given, font you want to change, that you can change it from here. Similarly, there are certain print options that we have given, that also you can select from here. Now let us come to the trial balance sheet. We will import data for one of the company. So this is the blank trial balance as you can see right now, and to import data from Tally we need to click on this button, import from Tally. Before we import, when you are using a first time this tool, you just click on this button, Tally settings. So when you click on this Tally setting, it will tell you on the first pop-up what is the Excel bit. So this is the Excel 64 bit. With that reference we need to do this settings. There is a detailed video available on this Tally configuration setting. In case you want to see that thing, you can refer that. Now let us see what is the Tally file that we have open over here. So here I have one of the company data open over here and period is selected 18-19. So when we click on button import from Tally in the automation tool, it will import data for the period which is being selected over there and the company which is open over there. Now in company's financial, it is compulsory to give the comparative. So when you are preparing first time financial, you need to import first previous year Tally data. So you can open the Tally data for the previous year and then you can simply click on this button import from Tally. So it will actually import data for the company which is being open over there and for the period which is being selected over there. Yeah, so you can see this trial balance data has been imported over here and this is the adjustment which is going to we need to do. So on company to company, this adjustment will arrive. Depending on the company, you need to do those adjustments. So primarily there is a stock adjustment that will come. Now let me show it to you what it has imported. The first two column, that is the grouping. So grouping, one is the primary group and second one is the grouping which is being defined in the Tally. So user is also defined certain groups, so that also has been captured over here. Second is the name of ledger, that has been covered over here, and then there is the balances. So there is no separate column for debit and credit. Debit is over here is positive figure and credit is negative figure. After this data has been imported, as I said that we need to do the stock adjustment. So let us come to the tool. So we'll just come to the last in the trial balance and we will just write it down over here that this we have done the adjustment. And we will just write it down over here that this is the change in stock adjustment. So if I come to the Tally, in Tally opening stock is over here is 2 crore 93 lakhs and closing stock is 3 crore 54 lakhs. So change in stock comes to the 61 lakhs rupees and exactly that what difference we are getting in the trial balance over here. So we will put this as a 61 lakhs rupees as an adjustment. 61 lakh rupees is actually the stock is increasing, so we'll put it as a negative figure. So it is a credit. When stock is decreasing, we just have to put the debit figure. So in that case, figure will be positive. Now this is the trial balance is now tallied. Now we need to do the grouping. So this grouping is divided into this 3 different level. First one is the phase grouping, then there is a node grouping, and then there is this sub node grouping. So phase grouping, there is a drop down list is given. So if I just show it to you, so this is the phase grouping. We need to select from the drop down list over here. We can select, so this is the professional fees expense. So where it should go on the face of the balance sheet and P&L, that we can select. So this is something which should go into the other expense. So we can select the other expense over here. Once you select the other expense, then the subcategories of the other expense will open up over here, and that you can select. So at the note grouping level, you can select that thing. So at the node grouping, we can select the subnode grouping over here. So this is the professional fees expense. I will just classify that under the professional fees. And subnode grouping is open ended. If you want to give a further subgrouping of that you can just define over here. This is upon the user can write their own grouping over here. Now when you are doing a grouping first time, it is not that you will have to do this all grouping manually for all this ledger. You can simply click on this button, apply default grouping. So that will do the majority of the grouping, somewhere around 50 to 70% grouping, it will do it automatically. So if we see over here, previously there were 464 ledgers which were not grouped, and now there are only 115 ledgers which are not grouped. In node grouping it is a 178. So this remaining grouping we can complete very quickly. Like, let me show it to you how. Let us say that we need to do this administrative expense grouping. So we can filter that all the ledgers which are grouped under the administrative expenses. They should go into the other expense. So I'll just select that other expense. And then this is under the other administrative expenses, so I'll select that. And I'll just copy paste that to all the remaining ledgers where the grouping is not done. So this is how we can actually complete the grouping, and once your grouping is complete, then if we just come, the balance sheet P&L you will get the tallied figure in balance sheet and P&L. Here you can see the balance sheet P&L is ready with all figures which are being tallied, and this is in printable format. Here our task is only that we can select yes or no for the respective note. Let us say that this is the long term borrowing. If we want a note of long term borrowing, we can select yes from the drop down list. If we do not want, we can select no for that. So note numbering will be automatically rearranged according to the selection that we do over here, and it will only generate those notes which we have selected yes. In the P&L also, if we come, P&L also our task is only that we need to select yes no for the notes that we want. Now once your balance sheet P&L is ready, then we can just come to the notes one and just click on this button, prepare notes. So once you click on this button, prepare notes, it will generate all the notes automatically, taking a base from the trial balance and all financial grouping which is being selected over there, and it will generate only those notes which we have selected yes in balance sheet and P&L. So here if we see, this is already generated all the notes over here. Now in this there are certain information which comes from the QDisk. QDisk is the qualitative information. From the QDisk sheet that data is coming. Now these notes are divided is actually in the 4 different sheet. Notes 1 is covering all shareholder related notes and the liability related notes. Then there is a notes 2, that is a fixed asset and the depreciation gross block detail that will come from the FAR. Then there is a notes 3 which is covering all asset as well as the P&L notes. So these are all being generated with the click of that one button when we click on this prepare notes. Then there is the 4th disclosure sheet, that is the A-Disk. A-Disk is basically covering all of the trial balance disclosure, like your auditor's remuneration, earning per share, MSME disclosure, then there is a related party disclosure. Now regulatory disclosure which are applicable from the current financial year, those will also be captured over here. Now this is information which is not coming from the trial balance, so where we will have to put the detail. So for this we need to put the detail in QDisk and RDisk, whichever disclosure is applicable we can fill detail in that. So in most of the companies you will always have a share capital detail which you need to fill. So you just click on this share capital and the tables for that share capital will open up, and we need to fill the detail for that, like authorized share capital. Then there is a reconciliation of share capital, that table we need to fill. Rights of the shares we can mention over here. Shareholder holding more than 5%, that table we need to fill it up over here. So this is how we can fill the detail which are in qualitative in nature. Let me show it to you one more example. Let's say company has borrowed some long-term funds. So just click on long-term borrowing. It will open up the tables for that. I have filled up here one of the data. So this is company has borrowed a long-term fund on the factory building, and this is the terms of repayment. If you want to mention some information in textual format, so that you can mention as a part of the footnote. Now once you fill this information, if you just want to directly go to the output sheet, that is the notes 1, 2, 3 or additional disclosure, you can simply press over here Control Q. So I have just clicked on the Control Q and we are just redirected to this sheet where long term borrowing, this disclosure has been added. Similarly, let us say that we want to add certain footnotes below this short term borrowing. So I can click any cell over here and I can press Control Q. So once I press a Control Q, this will take it to me to the short term borrowing disclosure. I can write it down over here that short term borrowing is on working capital of the company. And once you fill this information, just again press a Control Q, you will be redirected to that sheet and that disclosure will get added. Similarly, you can fill the detail of this trade receivable, trade payable, aging schedule also. We just click on this any cell and press Control Q. You will be redirected to the Q disk and there you can fill the information. Now let us come to the regulatory disclosure. Here also, whichever disclosure is applicable, you can click on that button. That let's say a company has borrowed short-term funds on the working capital. So related to that disclosure has been given over here. You can fill that disclosure and that data will flow to the respective sheet. There is one more report which you can generate in this, that is the annexure report. So in company's financial, we do not give a ledger wise detail, but for our working purpose we may require that ledger wise detail. So you just simply click on this button, prepare annexure, and that will generate all the annexure automatically within just 1 or 2 minutes. You can see here annexures are generated. This is entire, you can say that as a sub schedule or annexure. Then we can even so this is the annexure with the all ledger wise detail which has been captured over here, and this is all ready in printable format. So this is separate from the company's financial, so don't mix up this thing with the financial. In financial, whatever thing you are disclosing as a node grouping and sub node grouping, that will come over there, and at this annexure level you will get the ledger wise breakup for that. Then there is this analytical graph. So for your audit review as well as for your management presentation, you can give this analytical graph as well. To generate these graphs, you simply need to click on this button, refresh charts. So that will generate all the charts automatically. Here there are certain charts like profitability chart, P&L chart, top 5 income ledger, top 5 expense ledger, top 5 customer balances, top 5 creditor balances, and certain balance sheet and CFS related chart. Then if we just come to there is this ITR 6 balance sheet which has been given over here. This will generate it from the trial balance. So this is integrated with, as I said, this is integrated with Computex, Venman, Spectrum, Surreal IT as well. So there is a detailed video how you can export data into the respective software. You can see that for that purpose. Now let us come to the financial others thing. There is a check sheet which has been given. So check sheet is a very important part as a financial, whether it is having any error or it's a error free, it is a complete or not. So all the incompleteness, all the errors, all the mismatches between the financial, you will be notified over here. So in this check sheet, you can see there are more than 160 checks, and only checks which are not solved, you will be notified over here. So this first check says that there is a mismatch in the cash flow. Then in between there are certain checks which says that there is a negative balance grouped. So this is the 27 ledgers under the trade payable which are having the debit balance. So this also we can regroup. So this check sheet, ultimately when you just finalize the financial, you can just review that this all checks are cleared. Now let us come to how we can calculate the depreciation as per the Companies Act. So depreciation as per the Companies Act, to calculate, we need to come to this FAR sheet. Here you need to fill certain basic detail of asset. You can just fill details like type of asset. You can select from drop down list whether it's a tangible or intangible asset. Then you can select the category of the asset, like you can select from the drop down list over here. Then cost, residual value you can mention over here. Then date of put into place once you enter, and then you enter the what is the useful life of asset. Date of retirement will come automatically. Then select the method of depreciation, whether you are using a WDV method or SLM method, that you can select, and then just click on this button refresh. So once you click on this button refresh, it will calculate depreciation for all the asset automatically. So this is the perpetual depreciation chart which has been generated over here. So for entire life, depreciation will be generated over here, and it is integrated with notes part 2. So just come to the notes part 2, and this data will be captured over here automatically. So opening balance, addition, deletion, depreciation for the period, that will come automatically over here. Now let me come to this FAR sheet, and when you are using the first time this automation tool, it is compulsory to enter the opening balances of the depreciation. So you need to mention over here what is the date till, what is your last signed financial date, and the accumulated depreciation till that date. There may be a chances that the depreciation as per your working and as per this tool is not matching, so we cannot actually change the opening balances. So for that purpose, you can enter those detail over here, and then depreciation will be calculated from the 1st April. Matlab after this date, it will be calculated depreciation. Yeah. So this is a very basic thing that we have just gone through this automation tool. There is a detailed and advanced part of this automation tool, which like consolidation, there is a separate video on consolidation, there is a separate video on cash flow. So for that respective thing, you can refer that thing to go into the detail. Thank you.